national security. And I look forward to working with my colleagues on this committee so that we can get it passed. Thank you. Thank you, Mr.
Thanks,
Chairman.
Senator Warren. Senator Fetterman from Pennsylvania is recognized.
Well, thank you. It's I hate to have to follow my colleague Senator Warren and talk about crypto because she's, of course, the expert on that. But here into it. So now it turns out that scammers, hackers, and terrorists now have chosen to use crypto. I mean, it's a shock, right? And it makes you wonder why that. Now, do you think the terrorists and those folks are using crypto for the airline's mileage points? Or is it because that it's untraceable and they're engaging in illegal kinds of things? Is that a fair statement?
Yes, Senator.
Yeah. So, and now we all, of course, we have the bank meltdowns and crypto funding from Hamas, and now we have scammers and hackers using crypto to steal people's, money, of course, as well, too. Now, again, directly, Mr. Breaux, can you speak to how people have now praying to these kind of crypto scams? And my real question is like, now, is that redundant to have the term of crypto scam? Is crypto one gigantic scam, really, on that? So, Mr. Breaux?
Yeah, I would say that crypto is the next payment method of choice for scammers. They recognize that your average everyday consumer is probably not familiar with how it works. And yet, as I just mentioned to Senator Warren, the ability to give your cash to buy crypto and send it to a senator is usually to a scammer is usually as close as your closest grocery store. Cryptocurrency, we believe, is for people who want to use it. It's a sophisticated investor who should be looking at cryptocurrency, not my grandmother. That is, and scammers prey on that. They prey on the fact that consumers aren't familiar with how it works, and they use that to defraud them out of billions of dollars and growing.
Well, an investor, and again, to me, it's kind of a paradox too, a crypto investor, because really, I know somebody once said that they wouldn't buy up every cryptocurrency for I think it was a quarter, and really, so why would you invest in crypto for a quarter unless you could sell all of it for 50 cents? Kind of like the greater fool kind of thing. Is that really what underpins it? Or is there any kind of inherent value on that, really, why does it seem to be so open to scam? Is there a connection?
Well, Senator, thank you for the question. Personally, I would never invest in crypto for all the reasons that you just discussed. But for scammers, it's incredibly appealing because it offers what they are after, which is the ability to get their funds quickly, anonymously, and in a way that is practically impossible to reverse, even when the consumer discovers the transaction.
Anonymously, right? So
Yes,
it's
Senator.
untraceable and anonymously. Okay.
If I may, one of the things that when we're talking about crypto and scams is to take into consideration how the money is actually going into crypto first. So we hear a lot of stories that it's actually unauthorized or even fraudulently induced through wire transfer, and then there are no protections for the consumer there. If it was sent through like an electronic funds transfer that's covered by the EFTA, they would have protections, but we've heard of it coming either from HELOC accounts or from wire transfers, and so initially, even that transfer out has no protections for the consumer.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing, because I literally was going to pivot to you for the next question, and that is really about that. And it's like, my staff's much smarter than I am, and I wasn't really aware of this, but they brought it to my attention, is that true bank customers, they're not protected from hackers if they initiate a wire transfer. Right. I mean, that's outrageous. I didn't even know that myself. Is there a fix for that or anything that you would recommend? Because again, if I wasn't aware of that, and I'm on the banking committee, so think of how many millions of Americans that aren't aware of this.
Yes, absolutely. We get interviewed all the time, even by Good Morning America, about this very same question. So yes, make it be covered by the Electronic Funds Transfer Act. There was an exclusion when it was originally written in the 70s, and wire transfers were really business to business, and consumers weren't doing it, and it was in person. Now you're doing it online through mobile and digital applications, and so it is in essence an electronic funds transfer now. And even the New York AG has argued in a suit they filed against Citi that it actually is an electronic funds transfer when it's unauthorized, a request from someone who isn't the consumer to send it somewhere else. So it can be included in the EFTA, and of course we shouldn't forget, the fraudulently induced transactions. Those should also be included in the EFTA.
So I guess you're saying so that really the banks, I mean, they're the experts and they're the professionals. They should be held accountable, not then a customer that may not have any kinds of idea in that level of what's going on. Is that a fair statement again?
Right. Again, if it was unauthorized and the consumer didn't do it, then yes, they should be reimbursed.
Okay. All right. Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator Fetterman, for your incisive questions. It's my turn. I think I will be the last questioner. Ms. Sanchez-Adams, like an hour and a half ago, you gave your 6 recommendations. The CFPB, as you know, last year issued a proposed rule that would allow the consumer agency to supervise larger payment apps. What is this? Just walk through, if you would, what this proposed rule means for large payment apps like Venmo and Cash App and Zelle, and the consumers, what it means to consumers who use these platforms. Sort of give us